What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Brando Van Goyard 0000 on Discord. I just kind of wanted to go over all the cops that I've had in the past week. For the past week I've been running the notorious TSB, or the shitbot. It's had a lot of success, and I really wanted to get into sneakers botting to start off the new year. So I've been playing around with it a little bit. I just picked it up, like I said, about a week ago, and this bot is nice. This is definitely one of the better bots that I've used in a while, and it's really consistent. That's the best thing that I like about it, because sneakers botting as it is, it's not really consistent because it is a raffle based system, but it works really well, and the execution is just, I can walk into a drop knowing I'm gonna get at least one pair. Granted, it's not as easy as running the bot, and just sitting back and letting things happen. You have to set it up, obviously, which I'm gonna kind of go over for anybody out there that's wanting to get into TSB botting with sneakers, because I've had a lot of people hitting me up on Discord, asking for my setup, how I do things, and I'm pretty open. Like I said, I just started a week ago. I'm not really trying to hide what I run, who's stuff I run. I don't really care about stuff like that, so I'm gonna go over all that stuff. So right here, obviously I've blocked out all my information, but these are the cops that I've had in the past week. I got the purple dunks, size 9.5, the Christmas Grinch Kobe's. I accidentally ran random sizing on that drop, so I got some boats and a baby size, but it is what it is. There's still profit to be made. And then I just recently got the two Blazer lows. Those, I got 8.5 and 11, so that's pretty good. And then also yesterday I also ran Soul AIO and got the undefeated pack, the Air Max 97s. Hopefully I get the accessories with it. That'll be some good profit. But yeah, so like I said, I've been running this for about a week. It's been phenomenal. Absolutely no, I have nothing bad to say about TSB. Like, it's such a good bot, and I feel as though it's going to get better and better, especially with all the drops that we've got coming up in 2021. Sneakers is going to be dropping a lot of good stuff, and Shopify botting, as hard as it is, foot side botting changes every week, so I think it's definitely going to be worth it to dip your hand into sneakers botting. So my setup is pretty simple. Off the bat, I have 380 accounts that I run. These are for the most part, these are Swish accounts. I'll take you to their page right now. Of course, they have their breakdown of the different types of accounts that you can do. Personally, I only run King accounts. King accounts are the best accounts that they got. It's pre-farmed, you get a 45-day warranty, of course unique SMS provider, all that stuff, all that good stuff. But the biggest thing that I love about the King accounts is the fact that they're pre-warmed and they have that good 45-day warranty. That's one of the better warranties I've seen. So you can't really go wrong, and their support team is amazing. I had a random issue one time where 1 out of 200 accounts that I bought in bulk from their staff, it was like 1 or 2 that had like an invalid username and password. They, no questions asked, they got me right. They swapped them out for me, and they're always throwing discount codes out there too. So if you haven't followed Swish yet, follow them on Twitter, hit them up on Discord, get you some accounts. They're always doing deals, like I said, however many % off, free accounts. It just depends. They change it up all the time. So definitely run some Swish accounts. That's my number one. King accounts, that's the only accounts that I run that I've had success with. Now, as far as profiles go, I have more accounts. I have more profiles than I have accounts, and that's just because I jig them all in AYCD. I'm actually using, and people call me crazy for it, but I'm only using 10 hard cards across, call it 400 accounts. Reason being, I jigged them all. Granted, I know that that ratio is pretty extreme, but personally, I haven't had any issues running the same 10 cards across these accounts because, like I said, they are all extremely jigged. And of course, I just throw them in the profile converter in AYCD. They spin them out. I live in an apartment, so I put 2 characters on address line 1, 2 characters address line 2, of course all jig phone numbers, catch all emails, you know, the works. So even though I am using 10 hard cards, I really don't see an issue. I haven't seen an issue yet. Will my address get banned? Will my cards get banned? Who knows? Don't care. It's been working really well for me, so I'm just going to keep doing it. So I covered my accounts, King Accounts by Swish, covered my profiles, 10 hard cards, jigged the hell out of them. Proxies. The biggest thing about sneakers is you have to have good proxies. When you're running TSB, it's best to run resis. That's just the best success that you'll get. ISPs are way too expensive to be running hella accounts with strictly ISPs. Even though they will be faster and tend to be a little bit more stable, it's just way too expensive when it comes to sneakers botting, where you're trying to enter hundreds of accounts at one time. That many ISPs is just, it's going to be too expensive. So you got to make sure you have a good resi provider. Personally, I use Space resis. I use their Eclipse pool, specifically their Nike pool. It's had great success. You know, on the rare occasion that one proxy may get throttled or something, you just swap them out, restart your task, and it's good to go. The way I have it set up is I have both Oculus and Space ISPs. I typically use them for cookie generation. Rarely I'll use it for account checking, but mainly for cookie generation, just because they can throw out, you know, hundreds of cookies in a couple minutes. So that's really helpful, especially before a drop, when you want to get some good quality cookies right before the drop. You don't want to have expired cookies and then your tasks don't enter, or stuff like that. Stuff you don't want to really run into right before drop time, because you only really have 3 minutes to enter before they start giving out W's, and if you're not entered in those 3 minutes, you're screwed. So like I said, I generate cookies with my ISPs. I have a resi pool of cookie gen proxies as well from Space. All of my Space resis are all you know, distributed based on how I want to use them. So I have a pool of Space resis for genning proxies, for checking accounts, for drop time, and then I also have a backup pool as well, just in case, you know, I notice that maybe one pool gets banned, or I notice a lot of issues with that pool. I have a backup. But like I said, the biggest thing is that you have a specific pool of resis, or of proxies in general, for specific things. You don't want to use your account checking proxies to run your tasks. You don't want to use your drop time proxies to generate cookies. You know, you really want to keep it specific. You really want to keep it organized, and you really don't want to intertwine proxies, because at the end of the day, if you take it to a personal level, it's almost as if I'm on my phone logging into accounts, and then I rotate to another proxy out in, you know, I'm in Florida, so let's say I jump all the way to California, and then I jump all the way to Virginia, because these are resis at the end of the day. So you don't really want to do that, because it's going to flag your accounts and they're going to get clipped. So you just want to keep the proxies organized. Make sure you organize them like how I have them. I have a specific pool for each task function that I'm doing, and I pretty much just run them out. Like I said, the cookies are the only thing that I really swap between. If I'm generating cookies to check accounts, I'll use my cookie gen proxies, but if it's like right before drop time and I want to get some fresh cookies on a big drop, like let's say the Kobe's, I'll definitely use my ISPs just to pump out a couple hundred right before a drop. But yeah, so I covered my task setup. They're pretty much one-to-one, because they're all jigged profiles with my accounts. So you could call it a 1-to-1 ratio. It's 10 hard cards, so I've jigged each one 40 times. So that's my task setup. My accounts, Swish accounts, King accounts all the way. My profiles, I use hard cards. Privacy seems to have been going through some issues on sneakers, so I just completely stopped using privacy cards on sneakers. I still use them for other sites, but they just don't seem to be working on sneakers anymore. For the time being. I may down the road look into and stuff like that, but I just don't really care about it right now. Proxies, make sure you're running good proxies. Good resis are very important. I recommend Space personally. But that's really it. TSB makes it really easy to run. They don't make it too challenging to understand. The biggest thing you got to do with sneakers botting is you really got to read up on guides, successful setups. You really just got to do your research, make sure you understand the process, and you got to test your tasks. If you have a question about how something is ran or how something's going to go, the best thing you can do is get a test profile, get a specific pool of test resis if you want to generate maybe 10 resis just to test with, and just run some tasks. And right before drop, if it's if sneakers drops at 10, at around 9 o'clock, if you want to test a new process, you want to test something, just hop on sneakers, get the link, and try some stuff out and find your best setup. I'm pretty transparent with my setup. I don't really hide what I do, hide what I run, because at the end of the day, I don't really see a purpose for that. Because like I said, it's pretty straightforward. There's no magic in my setup. Everything is off the shelf. I don't have private subnets. I don't have private pools. I don't have anything like that. So yeah, if you're not familiar with the interface of TSB, this is the calendar, of course. So my next shoe that I'll probably be going for, definitely the Bodegas today, because today is the 28th. After that, these ones right now they're sitting at about $350 resale, so I think that's going to be a pretty good shoe to cop, especially in GS sizes, because GS sizes for ones that always do well. So, but yeah, cops tab I showed you already. To have 6 shoes in a week, and I was remote desktoping from home because I've been away. I would just remote into the computer and run it, because I have 64 gig RAM, Ryzen 7 processor, 3800. So I didn't really want to do this on my laptop, so I was just remoting in. To have 6 cops in a couple days, it's pretty successful, and I had never even looked into sneakers botting before a week ago. So, but yeah, orders tab, I extracted my orders, and that's about it. When it comes to checking accounts, I should mention there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to checking accounts, because of the fact that checking accounts can get them clipped, and because of logging in on multiple proxies in a certain amount of time, they will notice that and they will clip them. So what I would suggest doing is, the first time you get your accounts, this is just what I do, you can follow it at your own discretion. The first time I get my accounts, I check them, make sure I'm running them with my account checking proxy pool. I check them, make sure they're good, and then of course on drop, I make sure that I hit refill Nike info, just to make sure that all my profile addresses and stuff get loaded in. And then after the fact, for the next drop, I come back in when I make my new tasks for that drop, I uncheck refill Nike info, since the info is already saved. It does make the entry of the tasks exponentially faster. You burn less data because they're not having to refill, and you only have 4 times that you can refill Nike info before it will make you have to clear out all that information, in which case you would come to the accounts tab and you would hit reset. You check the reset box and then check them. It will clear out all the info. That of course is risky, because if you check your accounts too much, they're likely to get clipped. I just check them as soon as I get them, and I don't check them again. That's the best way to make sure that they stay fine. And really, that's all it really is to it. It's, sneakers botting. It seemed kind of intimidating at first because I knew nothing about it. I'm mainly Shopify and foot sites, mainly Shopify because Soul is my primary bot. But I just wanted to get into sneakers botting, and I'm probably going to be here to stay. It seems like a pretty successful means of botting because of the fact that Shopify is hard to get. You can't hit clips on Shopify. Nobody does that. If you do, props to you, because it's definitely hard to hit multiple pairs on Shopify. Foot sites, of course, is foot sites. Everybody can do that. But sneakers, I feel like, is a good avenue, because the more you invest into your setup, is the better your setup will be, and the more times you'll hit. And sneakers seems to be more consistent when it comes to cancellations, because You know, I don't really see much cancellations in comparison to Shopify, where you can run one task and it might get canceled. Whereas on sneakers, you know, I'm jigging the same profile 40 times. Like I said, I have one hard card to 40 jigs, so I'm running just fine. So it seems more consistent, it seems safer, and you know, the more you invest into your setup is the better results you'll get. You know, you definitely don't want to cheap out when it comes to sneakers botting. If you get shitty accounts, you're gonna get shitty results. If you have shitty proxies, you're gonna get shitty results. If you have good proxies, good accounts, a good setup, make sure you have a nice computer, or if you're running a server, you can. I personally don't run servers because I don't need to, but you know, if you did, you can. You invest in a good setup, it's gonna give you good returns. You know, that's botting in general. So shouts out to TSB for making a good bot. Shout out to Space Proxies, Oculus Proxies, you know, always holding it down. Swish accounts, King accounts all day. And that's pretty much my setup. You know, it's a pretty simple setup. So if y'all have any questions, I'll leave my Discord in the description. Like I said, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me about my setup and stuff, so hopefully this video will clear some stuff up. Like I said, it's pretty much all right here. There's nothing more to it. So yeah, that's about it. So I appreciate y'all watching, and y'all be easy.